What's ever Kayla Thompson. Welcome back to Shared News. We are here live breaking down the latest episode of The Bachelorette. And it's hometowns week, so we're talking families, we're talking connections getting deeper, some being questioned though. So we have a lot to get into. Before we do it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our lives, any of our panels, or breakdown videos for The Bachelorette. So, as I said, we are live, so please feel free to join in on the conversation with me. I'm here all on my lonesome once again, so don't leave me by myself. Go ahead and join in the chat. Let me know all your thoughts and comments as we go through all the dates, all the hometowns, and just, yeah, give me your thoughts. So, I have to say, just at the top of this whole thing, like, the fact that we're already at hometowns is so crazy to me. This season is flying by insanely fast. I say that every single week, but we really are getting down to the wire. And, hometowns usually tend to accelerate a lot of the connections for any lead from Bachelor to Bachelorette. But I think for some reason, this episode really felt like this season was like actually okay. Like this is real now. Like her connections with these guys are like super legit, and you can really see the difference between people that she really can see a future with and kind of get down to the an engagement with at the end, and who is kind of getting lagging behind. So let's just start off right at the first hometown. We had Aaron. His hometown was in Houston, Texas. I'm gonna go ahead and rate all the Hooju's because it's hometowns week, and that is a pivotal kind of part of hometowns. You have to talk about the Hooju's. You have to have the hug jump. So I'm gonna give Aaron and Charity's hug jump a 4. And here's why I'm giving it a 4, okay? I'm sorry if you are like an Aaron fan, but I just feel like Charity's connection with Aaron is just it's just not there. It's the chemistry's not there for me. You can feel there's just a little awkward stiffness that I'm getting. And Charity kind of talks about that. She talks about how, like, going into this hometown with Aaron, there are other connections that have grown, and she would like to get back to where they started with Aaron having been the first date she ever had on her season. But at this point, Aaron is the farthest behind of everyone else that she has left. So she's excited to meet the family, but she's a little apprehensive about it. So on to the family date. This was actually she met his family first, which doesn't always happen. So I find that interesting when they kind of switch it up that way. Usually it's like a day portion date with just the contestant and the lead. And then they meet the family at the night portion, but they switched it for Aaron. So Aaron introduced Charity to his parents, his brother, and his sister-in-law. And I mean, I was just so happy to see like the black culture was just fully being represented pretty much across this entire episode because we had 3 black men and black families that we got to meet. But Maylee and Aaron's, I mean, his mom threw down. She made catfish, fried frog legs, green beans, and more. And that's just like a huge part of like black culture and southern culture as well. So it was just really cool to see. And yeah, I mean, Aaron seemed again a little stiff, a little nervous with his family. I think his brother felt like, he could see how much Aaron is into Charity. His father felt the same way. I think for them it was a lot more about like being so proud of who Aaron is and that he's in this stage of his life and that they can tell he really wants this. But all across the board, it went pretty well, but I still wasn't really getting the vibe that this was like a life-changing hometown for Charity. I did love the conversation she had with his mom, where I mean, you could tell Aaron's mom does not play. I mean, she was asking all the right questions, all the hard questions, but still being very respectful. And the main question that was like pretty tough that she asked was if Aaron proposed to Charity right now, would she say yes? And Charity was really honest, and she said, "I would probably say no." I mean, she feels like she wants to be overwhelmingly sure at the end of who she's gonna get engaged to, and it's not about Aaron necessarily and anything about him or how she even feels about him. It's just that at this point, she's so she just has there's other options and she just wants to be sure. So I just really respected how you could tell that just at the top of this episode, Charity's going to be very honest and she's not going to beat around the bush about the reality of where she's at with each guy with their family. And I just think that's really hard to do as a lead. So props to Charity. But all in all, it went well. And at the end, they went to his high school football field. Aaron gave her some Letterman jackets with their names on the back. Super cute. Definitely like Friday Night Lights. We dated in high school sweethearts vibe. Really cute. He did tell her he was falling in love, and they danced to the Lauren Elena song that she sang for them on their first date on the second episode. So, of course, Charity got emotional. She cried. You could tell she really appreciates Aaron and she respects Aaron a lot. And I think she is cherishing how much he cares and puts into their relationship. And she said she feels a lot better about it. She feels like they're back where they kind of started. But the next hometown date for me just kind of, I don't know, reset Aaron of like, I was like, okay, maybe Aaron is really, okay, maybe they are back. Once she got to her hometown date with Joey, I mean, you can just automatically see just the difference of how Charity feels. So let's talk about Joey. I'm not going to lie, guys. Joey is becoming like my favorite, like, I don't know. I'm about to gush about Joey for a sec. So just bear with me, okay? So we are in Collegeville, Pennsylvania for Joey's hometown. Yes, Joey is originally or he lives in Hawaii, but he's originally from Pennsylvania. So that's where they're at. I love the Hooju. I gave the Hooju a 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't like a, super crazy epic one, but it was just slow in the moment. I mean, she was touching his face. They were saying how much they missed each other. It was so tender and sweet. And that's what I'm talking about. You could just tell the difference of how she was with Joey versus how she was with Aaron. She was so like giddy and buzzing and like bubbly and just she seemed like immensely excited to be there. And yeah, I love their chemistry together. And right at the top, before we even get to their tennis date, she already starts saying in the ITM that she's planning on telling Joey that she's falling in love with him. And I was shocked by this because I love Joey. Like I said, like 2 seconds ago, I love Joey. I gush about Joey. I love their connection. But I have felt like Doton is the main front runner. Like I think she's gonna choose him. But the way she talked about Joey this entire date and just planning to tell him she's falling in love, like it just really threw me. So I was like really, really taken aback by that. But anyway, so they get to their day portion. They play tennis together, which is obviously huge for Joey because he's a tennis instructor. It means a lot to him. And yeah, it's just like really cute, fun vibes. Charity's being her bubbly, flirty, cutesy self. Joey's very calm and, they're just, I don't know, it's just cute, fun times. She almost hits him a couple times and he just like takes it so well. And yeah, again, you can just tell how safe she feels around Joey. She talks about how she just feels like she's a different person around him and like she's just yeah, she lets her walls down with him. She just feels good around him and in his presence she feels loved is what she said. So I just really appreciated that a lot. And then we see his uncle surprises them on their day portion. His uncle's someone who taught him tennis, and so they're like the closest, I think, of everyone in his family. So it meant a lot to him. And it was cool at first. He was helping them play tennis or whatever, but immediately the uncle is like, I don't know, something's off with Joey. Joey's not being 100% himself, and you could tell he's a little skeptical. And that leads into kind of the night portion of the date as well. But first, Charity, Charity and Joey just talk about going into the family part. She's nervous, but they both verbalize how they're so nervous, but it's because how much they care about each other and how much this means a lot to them. And, again, that was just really cool. And she reiterates again, she really wants to tell him. She's kind of scared to tell him she's falling in love. She hasn't said it to anyone yet, but she's planning on doing so after the family portion. So if it goes well. So during the family meeting in the night portion of the hometown date, she meets his parents, his sisters, and his brother-in-law, and also his uncle is there too. Charity sits down and talks to his sister, and she tells his sister, yeah, no doubt about it. I'm falling in love at this point with how I feel based on right now in this moment. I want Joey. Like, I want to be with Joey forever. Again, y'all, throwing me for a loop, okay? Because for so long, I'm like, it's done, it's done, it's done. But then we hear Charity talk about Joey, and I'm just like, dang, she really, really, really feels a lot for Joey. So let's just put a pin in that. Joey talks to his mom, Kathy. He's kind of, you can tell there's a tension of, she's scared. She's scared for Joey to get heartbroken. And he's just really trying to reassure her that this is serious, that like, I'm going to be okay. Yes, there's a potential I could get heartbroken, but I feel so good about Charity. I have no doubts. And so there's that. And then we get to the conversation with Joey and his uncle. And, he brings up, Joey's uncle brings up, I feel like you aren't really being 100%. Like you're not really being as comfortable as you maybe would. And they talk about this issue that he's had in the past of people pleasing. And he asks him, I feel like, are you being someone that you think Charity wants you to be, or are you really being yourself? Are you really being fully authentic? And Joey didn't seem surprised that his uncle brought this up. He did say, "No, I'm completely being myself. Like, I trust her, like, I trust my connection with her." And yeah, it was an interesting conversation. I was trying to figure out what is the thing that his uncle's getting at because he didn't pinpoint anything specific that happened or that Joey said or that he saw. It just was a feeling he got. And I think at the end of the day, my conclusion is just like I think Joey probably does want everyone to be okay. So he likes to put off this, nope, everything's cool, everything's good. Even if there's a 20% kind of like I'm nervous and I want you guys to really approve of this relationship that I have. I don't think it's that he's been anything other than himself throughout this process. I think it's just on this hometown date, you can definitely feel. I think they maybe felt his nerves about Joey wanting them to accept him in Charity. So that's my take, but you guys let me know in the comments what your take was because I feel like Joey's been so real and so genuine and they've been so comfortable with each other. But at the very end, Charity talks to Joey's uncle and yeah, his uncle lets her know that I don't know. He brings up the people pleaser thing. I'm not sure he's really being 100% himself. And I have to say, at this point, I really was appreciative of his uncle's just his. He just was 100%. He was real. Usually, sometimes you get the skeptical family member on the hometown dates, but it all a lot of the times, excuse me, y'all. It a lot of the times comes off very, like, disrespectful, but in this instance, it was like, I don't know, it was just real. It was just 100%, and it was genuine, and I appreciated that. But, of course, this threw Charity for a loop for sure. This definitely gave her a lot of pause, and I think it stuck with her in not a great way at all. She clearly was super nervous about what he said. It kind of was a red flag for her. She felt a little alarmed by it, taken back by it. She felt like he has been really genuine this whole entire time. And so when they do go to say goodbye, I mean, she has been saying the ITMs, I'm going to tell Joey I'm falling in love with him. I'm going to tell him. And they sit down on the bench and she does not say it to him. And they say goodbye to each other. She's crying in his arms and she's telling him, no, it's happy tears. I'm going to miss you. But Joey can tell that something's off with Charity. She was uncomfortable and she wasn't really being honest with him about that. And I really wish that she did, but I think it's one of those things where the producers probably want her to save it for Fantasy Suites because at this point, even though it wasn't the best outcome of a hometown date that she wanted, Joey's not going anywhere because the fact that she felt that strongly to get that emotional at the end wishing that it was a better kind of she left with a better ending just shows how much she really cares about Joey. So let's move on to the third hometown of the episode. We have Xavier's hometown. Although he is living in Carrboro, North Carolina right now, his family is from Cleveland, Ohio. So that is where the hometown date is taking place. Their hooju was cute. It was the classic like super hug, run and jump thing. I gave it like a 5. I thought it was cool. I think just right off the bat I could tell that she's still apprehensive with Xavier. She's not really fully comfortable with him, and I think it's just he reminds her a lot of her past, and she still has some pause with him and if he's ready for marriage and all those things. So their day portion date is them at this knitting class. We all know that Xavier loves to knit. When he's not in the lab, he likes to kind of knit to really like relieve stress. So he's teaching Charity to knit. They're knitting with these other people in the little knitting class, and it's just really cute. They're just all chatting, getting to know each other, and you can definitely see Xavier's softer side. He's just like in his element in a way too, and they're laughing and having a good time. And he's just being so patient with her, and he continues to show Charity that he has a lot of layers. He has a lot of depth. Um, I don't know though. For me, I think you could just tell the difference between her connection with Joey and then Dotton at after Xavier's date and with Xavier. There's just something else kind of missing there. Um, but they still have such a great chemistry. After the knitting class, they go to this little coffee shop, and she does bring up their conversation that they had last week about his fears and his hesitations of getting married and getting engaged at the end of this, and how it really scares her. And, they just kind of rehash that. And he says, "Hey, listen, I'm going to strive to push myself and keep, being better and doing this with you. I just need more time." So going into the night portion, Charity's wondering just more about that. Can he fall in love with me? What if he's not there, but I am? And Xavier is kind of feeling the same, like not sure if he knows he can get there, but he's just not there yet. So Charity is meeting Xavier's dad, his mom, and his sister, and they immediately mention how they can tell that Xavier's super into Charity. They seem like they've been dating for a long time. He seems very comfortable, and Xavier seems to be really, I mean, he's always taken relationships seriously, and that's something that's a kind of a through line of his hometown date. His is all of his family members saying how seriously Xavier is trying to find his wife and his partner, which is kind of quelling a lot of Charity's concerns. And so, yeah, she sits down with his sister. It goes really well. She again confirms that, yeah, he wants to settle down. He's always been after that in every relationship he's been in. She does talk to Xavier's mom, and she brings up concerns again. His mom quells all the fears and says, "Listen, he truly does value marriage and family. And he wants to get married. He's always wanted that. I think it's just the journey and the process being so short," which of course Charity understands. So it's just you get a lot of clarity of no, Xavier is ready. It's the process, and I think that's fair. And that's there's usually always a contestant like that in every season where it's just it's the show of it all. It is a lot. It's 6 weeks ish at least. It's a lot to ask for someone to get engaged at the end in such a short amount of time. But yeah, he talks to both of his parents, and he reiterates how much he really likes Charity, he cares about her, and they can tell as well. But he's just not sure if you know he can see that he's ready for that. Like he's ready for marriage, and he can see that with Charity. But it's just a matter of will she choose me? He just again needs more time to really figure that out. But all in all, it was a great hometown. His family was amazing. His sister loved Charity so much, and Xavier was kind of like really taken back by that. Not because Charity's not amazing, but it was just like, he's like, my sister never really likes. I mean, she doesn't play. Like, so it's big for her to say she loves somebody. So I think that gave Xavier a lot of confidence. You can tell the difference of how he was at the end of the hometown and he felt so assured by his family. And he ended up telling Charity that he was falling in love with her. So yeah, great hometown date. Let's get to the very last one with Dotton, the number one, I think, still, even though Joey's up there for sure. Dotton's hometown is in Fresno, California. They're Hooju, very cute, very just intimate, passionate. Like they were kissing and just all over each other. They couldn't stop kissing. I gave it an 8. It was probably the best of the bunch. And Charity's already entering this hometown date comparing what happened on Joey's to what could happen with Dotton, and she's, concerned, is Dotton being 100% real with me because I have this thing with Joey and I'm concerned. And to me, I think that just showed that it's easy to see that Joey and Dotton are final two. The fact that that's who she was comparing it to just tells us everything we need to know. But just like Aaron's date, we are meeting the family first. So they head to Dotton's family's house, and his parents are actually not there. They're in Nigeria, is what he tells Charity. So she's meeting his grandmother, his sisters, and his brother. And yeah, his grandma's inside cooking Nigerian food. It's just like a whole vibe. They're so themselves. They're so comfortable, so laid back, so welcoming. And, it's really cool too because Charity mentions that her best friend is Nigerian, so she's not foreign to their culture and their food and just, like, all of that. And so it's going really well, they're out in the backyard, and lo and behold, his parents walk through the backyard, and I mean, Dotton was completely shocked. It was such a huge moment. I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this not the best hometown date ever?" Like, his parents flew all the way from Nigeria to meet Charity. So that says a lot about, one, how, Dotton is taking this very seriously with Charity, and they know that, and they showed up for him. But also how much they really respect Dotton and love him, and regardless of the outcome of this show, they wanna be there for him, and I think that's just something really beautiful. Um, so yeah, she ends up talking to his parents, of course, and his mom is just so loving. She is so open to Charity. Charity starts crying about how special Dotton is and how she feels this undeniable feeling with him. And yeah, she kind of doesn't say a whole lot, but she just is very emotional. And that to me is just another huge sign of how insanely strong her feelings are for Dotton. And yeah, his mom just completely accepts her 100%. She's like, "I'll throw you a Nigerian wedding if this works out. Fly you all the way to Nigeria. We're gonna do the whole thing. Like you are welcome in this family, and we love you." They were all literally saying, "I love you" to Charity. It was just so sweet. And yeah, the rest of his family just gush about him, his character, his intentions, how faithful he is as a man, and I mean, it was just perfect. It really was like the perfect hometown. Um, and then the night portion was even better. Dotton took her to the drive-in, and I mean, that was really cool for Charity because it felt like a confirmation for her because the drive-in is something that her parents would do all the time when they were dating. So it just felt like this like weird, like not weird. It felt like this kind of green flag, but like just a confirmation of another confirmation that something about Dotton is just like it's just really right. It's right. It's a sign. And so at the drive-in movie, the movie is actually some home videos and photos of both Dotton and Charity and some pictures of them from their dates and times together. And it was just a super special moment. Charity got very emotional. They both felt even closer to each other, and I don't know. He wins the hometown. He wins the hometown for me in this episode. Again, you guys let me know what your thoughts are, but I'm just like, how could it be even better? Like the parents showed up, like they surprised him. It went so well. This night portion was so perfect. And at the end of the day, Dotton is talking about engagement. He's seeing an engagement very near in the horizon with Charity. So Dotton is definitely he's still Him and Joey. It's him and Joey neck and neck for number one. So we'll have to see, of course, as the weeks progress. But at the end of the episode, Charity ends up recapping all the hometowns with Jesse, and she comes to the conclusion that she's actually falling in love with all of them, which is wild. And I don't know about y'all, somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think a lead has ever said that outright, that they were falling in love with with four of their guys from hometowns. Like, I don't know if that's an unprecedented thing, but I was just like, man, this is gonna be tough for Charity. Like, she's so open to this, and her heart is so out there that she's feeling this strongly about all four. Like, when we get down to 3 and 2, like, geez, this is gonna be tough. And yeah, I mean, essentially, we feel that at the rose ceremony. First of all, the rose ceremony setting is gorgeous. They're at this airport. They drive out, the limos out to this tarmac. They walk out on the tarmac. There's an airplane in the background. You guys can see it. It's just beautiful. It was insane. But yeah, again, Charity just seems super torn. I think mainly just heartbroken over who she knew she was sending home. And the first rose was to Doton. Second rose was to Xavier. And after that, it was just easy. It's definitely going to Joey. The last rose went to Joey. And I think just the editing of the episode, it definitely wanted all of us to feel like Joey might have been in jeopardy from the hometown date not going perfect. And she didn't tell him she was falling in love and all those things. But that was not the case. It was never going to be the case, y'all. She was always going to give Joey a rose. Like, let's be for real. And so that left Aaron, who was going home, and the breakup was really tough with Aaron. I mean, Charity just kind of said it. There's really nothing she can say. She said, "There's really nothing I can say to make you feel any better about this." Like, she even mentioned, "I'm not sure if I'm even really making the right decision, and that's not helpful, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is." And I think it's always tough as the lead getting down to this point and breaking up with people and finding the right words to say, but I think that Charity was as empathetic as she could possibly be. And Aaron takes it as well as he can possibly take it. He tells her he thanks God for her, and you could see he clearly is thankful that they just met and they had this experience. And yeah, he gets in the limo. He definitely gets emotional in the limo, and Charity says in the ITM that, I mean, it's tough because she's sending someone home that she still feels like she's falling for. So wild, for sure. For sure. And after this, we get a preview of Fantasy Suites, which will be next week. Mental Law, I'm assuming, will be after Fantasy Suites this season. So very interesting. But our final three are Xavier, Joey, and Doton. Not gonna lie, I'm not surprised by this final three at all. I think I pretty much pegged it from maybe week 3 or so. But overnight should be really interesting. I think overnights usually change a lot for the lead. And in the preview, we can see people are saying they're in love, including Charity. I think Joey's talking about getting down on one knee. Doton for sure said he was in love. Someone is getting cold feet a little bit. Maybe there's a self-elimination coming next week. And also someone making a return. So I think Fantasy Suites is going to be really interesting to watch. I think it's going to be definitely filled with a lot of romance, a lot of drama. So I am super excited to break it all down with you guys next week. But that about wraps up this week's live chat. This live chat together, breaking down the hometowns of the Bachelorette. I know there was so much to talk about, so please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, from just the hometowns themselves, the families, but also I gotta know who you feel like Charity is gonna end up with at the end of this, because I mean, obviously, I've been saying it this entire panel. I think it's between Joey and Doton. And I'm just I'm in the middle. I don't know who she's going to pick. I feel like her connections are just as strong with the two of them. Maybe Doton's a little bit ahead, but there's an extra something spark with Joey too. So I don't know. Either way, I'm going to be happy with whoever she chooses. I think all three of these guys are kind of perfect. So I'm a happy girl in this season of The Bachelorette. But again, that's about it for me. I'm Kayla Thompson. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. Don't forget before you go to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos just like this, any panels, any breakdowns. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.